Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tennessee Dudes Disc Golf Podcast. My name is Daniel. Across from me is my co host Ethan, and I have a Windows update that just wants to start right now, but I'm going to have to stop that. Get out of
Oh,
here, Windows Update.
I have
What a
one
bad time for that to start.
that I have one that's wanting to go as well.
It
I
was
don't
like,
know
I'm restarting your
why.
computer. It's like, I'm restarting your computer in 60 seconds if you don't click off of this. Get
Yeah.
out of here. Don't do that.
Well, yours didn't give you as much time. Mine did say at least 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And I was like, what a weird time.
What the heck is that? Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us. This is going to be
Episode
a little
24.
weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
You
that
know,
too.
we're hanging out here. It's past 9 o'clock my time out here on the East Coast, and for him, a little bit not as late, I guess.
8:30.
Yeah, but it's humid. There's a lot of pollen. I'm sneezing all the time. I hate it. Itchy, watery eyes. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are thinking about this spring so far, but if the wind could calm down, that would be great.
Spring.
I'd be down for that.
I'm pretty sure it's winter in the morning and summer in the afternoon. So
I was gonna say like I'm not even getting that over here, man. We're just it's just summer.
it's like that type of weather where you go outside in the morning time because I leave the house at 4 o'clock, so it's cold for some reason. If it's below 65, I mean not 65, but if it's below 55, I'm cold, and I don't know why.
I don't I don't think I've even like had a low below 65
That is
in
wild.
a while. So my wife and I actually went out and spent some time. University of Tennessee was hosting regionals for softball, and they lost.
Mm.
Awesome. It was a great time. Um, but yeah, we went
Was the
out
game
there.
fun though?
Oh, we had a great time. So the way that regionals works is it's like a small scale tournament. So
Hmm.
each regional is their own tournament, and Knoxville hosted the Knoxville Regional, which included 4 teams, and it's double elimination, so you can lose once and keep playing. And yeah, so we ended up, you know, watching 4 or 5 games. My wife ended up watching like 6 or 7 because she went to a couple of games that I was working through.
Right.
Um, but yeah, it was a great time, except for the fact that on Saturday it was like 95% humidity and 95 degrees,
Yeah, it was a hot one Saturday.
and UV index was like ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I usually never wear sunscreen, and I got out there and I was standing in it or sitting in it, and I was like, I'm gonna put on some sunscreen, otherwise I'm gonna die.
Well, I
Sure enough.
didn't have to worry about the sun too much where I was. Um, you know, but I was in a full tuxedo.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, just make sure the tips of your ears don't get burnt in your eye.
right.
But
That
anyways,
was
yeah, we had a great time watching that this weekend. It was kind of hard for me because I'm trying to watch the game, and then I have my phone up on the OTB Open, and it's really hard to see, people play disc golf with the sun shining right on your
oh
screen.
yeah.
But I was able to keep up with it really well. And I'll tell you what, man, this is a good tournament.
I enjoyed it.
It was very good. Very much appreciated the OTB Open this year, all the way around. Why don't you start running us through a little bit of what MPO did?
Yeah. So, um as you recall, last week we did our picks and we both had Simon in the top 3. However, I did pick him to win last week, and that's exactly
Okay.
what he did. At 20 down, shooting an 8 down final round. Then you had Calvin Heimberg tying him for the round at 8 down, uh, coming in second at 18 down. And then Aaron Gossage coming in third at 17 down, also shooting 8 down. Um, you had Anthony Barella just barely missed the podium, but he did, however, qualify for the USDGC with that placement. Um, Also, Chandler Fry, Austin Hannum, and Mason Ford were able to clinch some USDGC spots through the OTB Open.
Yep.
Um, that the probably highlight of the weekend was seeing Simon so confident.
Yes.
We haven't seen Simon play like that. I I don't know if I've ever seen it. Um, I know that I came in a little late. Simon is my favorite player, but um, I've never actually got to see him win anything except Memorial.
Yeah, it's it's been a few years.
Four.
A lot of stuff going on in his life and all of our lives that have slowed him down a little bit between the injury, the pandemic, having a son. Obviously, some of those not so great, but some of those things have been really great for him. And it's been a wild ride to watch, and I can't even explain how happy I am to see him back on top.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, not to be overshadowed, but it wouldn't be a podium without Calvin Heimberg on it. It's it's just like he's always there. He's always
He
there.
has to be there, man.
But like, normally we would feel bad about Calvin not getting a win. But Team Denny has won this year already. He has won. So we got to see Calvin kind of make a push there at the end for Simon. It was a great final round to watch, and I overall really enjoyed the tournament. Um, I know it was on a golf course, however, it didn't present the feel of a golf course as much. Um,
No,
it was,
we'll go over that a little bit later.
yeah.
But yeah, it was probably one of the better, golf course layouts
Oh, a
for
100%.
sure.
Yeah, 100%. You want me to go ahead and go over the FPO as well?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, FPO first place taking it down was Paige Pierce at 11 down, which funny enough, that's what she entered the third round with. She ended up shooting an even scored round, the final round. Natalie Ryan coming in second at 7 down. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say third place as well. Coming in third, Juliana Korver at 3 down, shooting a 4 down round, and Ella Hansen barely missing the podium at 1
As
down.
well as as well as Alexis Manhano
And Alexis
down there
Manahano
tied with
tied
her.
for fourth.
I'd like to start by, first of all, congratulations to Paige. We'll get back to you here in a second, but Juliana Korver, number one, huge performance.
Yes.
Absolutely great performance out there. Just really excited to see what she brought to the table. Shooting a 4 down in the final round to sneak her way up into that standing and get a podium finish out there
And I mean, she
um,
had 7
on a
birdies
course like
too.
this.
7
Yes,
birdies.
yeah.
That's no easy task.
And then, of course, we have to talk about it.
Yep.
Natalie Ryan, just so close.
It was.
Um,
She started out. So going into the second round, let's lay a little picture for you for the ones of you that did not watch it. Paige was 11 down going into the third round. Natalie Ryan was in second place still, but at 2 down, 9 strokes difference. And by hole 15, it was tied. Natalie Ryan had shot 9 down, or 7 down. Yeah, my bad. Had shot 7 down. 1, 2, 3,
no,
4,
she was
5.
9 down.
Okay, yeah, 9 down through 15. Golly. You look at
Did
that
10 birdies,
scorecard and it's
10 birdies and
crazy
a
blue.
bogey. Wow. I mean,
Yeah, 10
up until
birdies and
hole
a bogey.
15, you're talking she was on pace to match Paige,
Oh, yeah.
if not better, for Paige's second round, which ended up being a 10 down, which was the first and one of only 2 10 downs we saw
Yep.
from either MPO or FPO, which I mean was absolutely wild. I know when I was talking to some of the hitting the lines guys, um, there were a lot of questions on the first day of wow, these lines look really soft, and I can't imagine people not hitting these scores. And then right after I had seen the lines, I watched Brody Smith's practice round.
Right.
And I went through that whole course, which, if you guys didn't know, is almost a complete redesign. 13 of the holes were brand spanking new this year.
Yep.
And I went back and I was like, I thought these lines were soft. And I'm eating my words right now because let me tell you what, we're going to see a 10 down. Uh, I don't know how many, but I know we'll see one, but it'll be an absolute scorcher of a round on this course.
Yeah. How do you feel about 1028? I mean, I kind of feel like that was low. I know you messaged me over the weekend and you was kind of thinking the same thing. Like it should have been a little higher. I mean, compared to the strength of
10
field, it's not like everybody was there other than Kristen.
So yeah, so 1028 felt so soft, and this is one of those things where it's like I know that the rating system is there for a reason and it does a good job with certain things, but FPO needs to have its own rating scale
I
because
completely agree.
I don't know how you have Paige Pierce going out there throwing a 10 down and scoring 3 strokes over 1,000. Well, less than 3 strokes over 1,000,
Yeah.
technically. Um, and I think that we we don't get a good idea of really what we're seeing in FPO ratings wise. I don't think it tells a very clear picture because their ratings still tend to veer towards what would a man at 1,000 rated play this course as,
Yes.
and I don't think it's fair, honestly. I mean, in my mind, that has to be 1050 or above rated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, but I don't make the rating system. I don't design the algorithms.
Who was
It's
the other
just it
one that
doesn't make
shot
sense
10
to me.
down?
Um,
I'm not sure. I was wanting to say that it was AB, but
it should have been. Yeah, Anthony Barella shot a 10 down on day 2 as well.
what was
He
his rating
bogeyed on
score?
hole. It was 1078, I
So
think.
how does so? Hmm,
T and par differences.
I get that, but it does seem like it's always around 50 points. Like it does seem like that. Even like they're saying like the 1050 boys are for FPO would be 1,000. You know,
Right.
I I do wish that they had their own separate scale.
100%. I don't. I think that the scaling needs to change if you're gonna have like separation of divisions like that. Because here's the thing: for when we talk about ratings in separated divisions, including the amateur divisions, for you and I, part of our ratings are based off of how the field plays,
Right.
right? So if I go out there and I play the same course that MPO plays, my rating in my division is probably going to be higher than if I shot that same score on the same course and I was playing in the MPO division.
Yep.
And I
I
just
agree.
don't feel like the FPO scaling is correct.
No, I don't either.
Because I think we should be able to look at FPO and say, like, clearly define who is 1,000 rated, but we can't because none of them are 1,000 rated because
Yeah.
the scaling's wrong.
And none of them have been. No FPO has ever been 1,000 rated.
No, and under the current scaling, I don't know that they will be for another decade.
Paige got up to what 996 once, and then she
But
had one bad tournament and it dropped her back down to 978.
yeah, and I don't. Again, I mean, you could say that she had 996, but it really depends on how much was included, how many of old scores are they dropping off, what are they balancing it from, whatever their algorithm is. But it didn't last.
No,
But it
it
should.
didn't last, but it should
You're
have. Yeah,
talking about Paige Pierce, Kristen Tatar, and a couple other players that are sitting where in the MPO division most people would consider the 1040 to 1060 rated guys in
exactly.
top fives, and they're sitting at 950.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, but we could ramble about that for a while.
Yeah. But long story short, back to what actually happened. Natalie Ryan. absolutely obliterated the course until hole 16. And then uh, she got the yips. Not unsurprising. I called it when as soon as it happened. I said if she goes into 17 and 18 with a tie or a one-stroke lead, she is losing this tournament. She needs a buffer.
Right.
It's the first time she's ever been there, and it is likely not to be the last. But Paige Pierce is cool, calm, and collected. First of all, played way too safe. 100% was playing completely soft,
We've been
where she
seeing that
absolutely should
lately.
have bad. But it wasn't like she wasn't playing like bad soft. It was the I've got a 10-stroke lead soft,
Exactly.
and it did not look good, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that still gave Natalie the chance to come in and put the pressure on,
Yeah.
and she did just that. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to convert.
Yeah.
Not surprising. Absolute, monster performance, and I'm not going to detract from her performance just because of what happened on 17 and 18. Because let me tell you what, you can practice every shot in disc golf, but you can never practice the feeling of being that close to victory.
Yeah.
And when you might say, well, she's won other tournaments before, I'm sure she's won something before, but it's not an elite series.
Right.
It's not the pro tour. Maybe it's an A tier, maybe it's a B tier, but it is not the pro tour. And you cannot practice the emotions that you feel in those situations.
I agree. I do agree. There is probably a handful of FPO players that can handle that. And that's because they're used to being at the top. And
Yep.
Paige just happens to be one of them, you know. And she knows how to finish. She knows how to win. She knows how to close out. Uh it's yeah, like you said, it's nothing to take away from Natalie because that was just so impressive. Just
Absolutely.
to even come back on the third round and make it interesting. Huge
Yeah,
shout
I
out.
don't I don't care that you sit there and you might say, well, Paige was playing way too safe. She should have blown the entire field away. Well, she didn't. She went out there, she played safe, she threw some bad shots, and she got punished for it. And somebody took advantage of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it was exciting to watch because I can't tell you, like, when I was on Sunday, I was at the one of the UT softball games while this was happening, and I remember I turned it on and I watched about the first four holes, right? And if you go through the first four holes, you had Paige go par birdie par birdie.
Right.
Natalie Ryan went um, birdie 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 par, and I just kind of said, man, even if Natalie just blows the socks off this round, I just don't see it happening.
Right.
And so I ended up turning it off for a little while and just checking the scores on UDisc, and I was like I couldn't even see it anyways, so why am I trying to watch?
Right.
And I kept checking UDisc, and I was like, what the heck? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my
she's
gosh,
making a run for it.
by hole 13 I had to turn it back on even though I could barely see it because it was like, what is Paige doing? But she's just letting this happen, and Natalie is taking full advantage of it.
Yeah. But I am glad that it did come down to the wire and get interesting.
Hmm.
Nobody likes to see a blowout. And
No,
just like you said, you turned it off, and there was a lot of people that did.
absolutely. No, I kept watching. I was paying
Yeah, it's
attention.
not
I
like
didn't,
yeah, it's not like you. But as far as
but
like watching live,
yeah,
when you see a
you know,
blowout in a football game or a basketball game or whatever, it is you just kind of you'll have it up on the background, and then next thing you
you start.
know, you're just kind of on your phone checking this
Eventually, I
app
start
out.
just scrolling through Twitter and just seeing
Exactly.
what other people are saying about what's happening instead of
Right.
actually watching it for myself because
Exactly.
I already know what's happening, right?
Yep. Yep.
But I thought it was really funny because if you take that interesting comparison where you had a 10-stroke lead on the FPO side that turned into this ridiculous finish. Whereas on the other side, you know, Simon did not have a big lead,
No.
right? But at the same time, after 3 or 4 holes, I was watching that and I was like, barring monumental collapse, I have no fear right now. Like
Right.
I
He
I
was just
I felt so good in the trust that he had in his own game that I almost felt like MPO ended up being a blowout, even though the score doesn't reflect it. Like it was almost just like Simon was never in any danger.
right.
Even from day one where he wasn't in the lead, from day one to day two to day three, it just felt like he had it
It
the
just
whole
it
time.
it seemed like it was his tournament to lose the entire time.
100%.
And I couldn't agree with more with what you said. He was just showing so much confidence. He was putting every shot where he wanted it, and he was making his putts, even the ones that like his push putts. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I did 3 of them. He said I made them all. You know, like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I just
It
and
just felt like his day, is what he said.
it was great to watch. I mean, there were a couple of times he threw some errant shows and he or threw some errant throws, excuse me, and didn't have anything bad to show for it.
Right.
And he took advantage of every single one of those situations.
Yep.
He did not miss the opportunities that were presented to him. And he went out there and he played his game. And he's going to sit there and tell you, well, I don't throw as far as I used to. Bull, man.
He
I
still
throw
can.
flippier. I throw flippier stuff now than I used to. Okay, just because you have a cloud breaker that's slightly flippier than the ones you used to throw. He's, I'm throwing flippier now. Okay, but it's still a cloud breaker. All
Yeah.
right.
He
Like,
said the disc that he threw the most was his FD3.
absolutely. And
That's
and that played into his game plan. Like
Yeah. He said he
when
felt
we were
like he was
talking
throwing it on
about
every hole almost.
when we talked about how, he just felt like he was in control every shot, and he did a good job of making sure he was.
Yeah.
He didn't go for the big, exciting, ridiculous throws unless he absolutely had to, and he did a few times, and they
Yeah.
were beautiful. They
They
were
were.
super fun to watch. But at the same time, he went out there and he played for the win, which is something we don't always see Simon do.
Yep. And everybody
And it
loves
was
to
just
see
as fun.
Simon on a card. They
Yeah,
do.
it was just as fun to watch him play controlled and competitive as it is to see him play wild and go for the eagle on every hole, right?
That's part of where I was at. Like I just enjoy seeing Simon. I don't have to see crazy stuff, right? I like to see his personality, his character on the card. You'll see, and this is no shade at anybody else, but like you'll see everybody else take 20 to 25 seconds to line up their putt and everything like that. Simon will walk up, dick, dick, doom. You know what I mean? Like dick, dick, doom. And he's always like that. I it
Yeah.
I enjoy that. That's just the way he is. Like he doesn't take any time. He goes up,
Can we
he's confident, and he rolls with it.
can we talk about just how much like his putting has improved as well? Like he's mentioned it before, and we knew about it like back in Waco, and he had talked about, he's like, I put so much time into my putting.
Yes.
And so we've seen him a couple of times this year, and his putting has looked really good, maybe a little bit off from time to time, but for the most part, what we've seen that's been off has been his throwing, which was to be expected. We know he hasn't been throwing as much as he used to.
Right.
And we knew he was a little bit out of practice on his throwing. And the thing about this tournament was I think he putted as well as he has been putting this whole season, but it was really on display simply because he was throwing himself into position on top of putting very well.
Yes, putting him in position to score off of those putts.
Absolutely. He
Yeah.
wasn't saving pars or tapping
Yeah,
in
okay.
saves for pars.
That
We're going to
that
get to them.
don't get me started.
Okay, we'll get to that later, but yeah, I have to say though, I mean, we had outrageously good weeks in terms of predictions overall. We both predicted Paige to win. It got a little scary there at the end.
Right.
It was a little scary, but we both had Paige winning. You had Simon winning. I had Calvin winning, but both of them had Simon. Both of us had Simon and Calvin in the top three as
Right.
well.
There was just flip flops.
Which, yeah, I was. What a good week for predictions. I'll tell you what.
We did great. We honestly did great. And for us to like yeah, I like the craziest thing about it is 4 years is the last time Simon won an Elite Series. So like betting lines wise, could you imagine? Like if they done like if you bet on somebody to win, his odds were probably against him. Just
Oh,
because,
100%.
yeah. So, we kind of took a risk there, and I believe that gamble would have paid off tremendously. um,
100%.
yeah. What did you think about Drew Gibson's little meme shadow um of him falling after missing that doink putt? Did you see that?
That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
To
I
be such
laughed
an
so
athletic
hard when I saw it. I replayed it like 30
to be
times.
such an athletic person, he rolled over like a beanbag. I was like, "What just happened?"
What?
What? I was like,
Oh
huh?
my gosh.
I don't know if it's just because he's like solid muscle or if like I don't know. It was just like his body just stiffened up and he just rolled over and then come back.
I mean, it was 80% on purpose, but it was still hilarious regardless.
I mean, was it though? Was it though? Because
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you
100%.
he fell on
The
purpose.
100%.
No.
Yes. Watch it again. I promise you. Like I said, man, I replayed that 30 times at least.
Why?
Be-
So he went to kick on it. He went to kick at the basket. Have you ever went to go punt a football and then like just kind of overdo it a little bit and take your other leg out?
Yeah, but I've also Charlie Browned on purpose before. When you go to just kick something and fall over,
Well, you think
you do it
Charlie
on
Brown
purpose.
done it on purpose?
No, but we do it
Okay, then,
because
Mister
of the
Charlie Brown.
example. But we do it because of Charlie Brown or something like that, where it's just like it's a funny thing. It kind of just is an example of your emotions in the moment or
Right.
whatever. 100% he fell on purpose.
I don't know. We're gonna have to do a poll. I need that on Twitter stat. Do you
But I
think Drew
wonder.
Gibson fell on purpose?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't think I could I could do a poll real
Yes.
quick. Give me a
Yes.
second.
Oh
But
no. Down here. Um. But yeah. Um.
yeah,
Speaking of Infinite, in general, I wanted to mention this today. I seen where Cole Radalin ended his partnership with EV7. Yeah.
really, I
Yes.
had not seen that.
That's pretty breaking news. Um, he said that as far as everybody knows, or as well as everybody knows, that putting is one of the strongest points to everybody's game. Um, and he has found himself struggling with the deeper putters. Um, and he's been using the fee, just like you. And the fee is not extremely deep, is it?
No, it's moderate at most.
He was calling it a deeper putter, and if you give me just a second, I'll bring up the post and I'll read it word for word. That way, I don't get anything wrong. Um, okay, so this is what it says. It says, as we
I
all know, putting is a very personal part of the game, and EV7 makes great putters. Over the years, I have trained myself to putt with a beadless, shallow putter. While joining EV7 and making a switch to the fee, I have found that using a deeper rim has become more of a challenge than I expected. Through honest conversations with the EV7 team, we found ourselves at a fork in the road and decided it would be best to walk our separate paths for now. Thank you to everyone at EV7 for your support so far this season. I am truly grateful.
Interesting.
And just broke it off.
Now,
Um, Now, the interesting part is you know what he's going to?
what?
Luna's.
Luna's. I mean, the fees are a little
A
bit deeper
shade, maybe? Like,
at the most. Now, here's the one thing I will say is I don't know if you remember when I first initially switched to the fee, but my issue with it in the very beginning wasn't necessarily that it was deeper than the Luna, but it did have a much more aggressive edge on the inner rim. It was
Right.
very sharp and pointed, and I did find in the beginning it would catch my finger right here a
Yeah.
lot.
I remember that.
Um, Now
And
that is could be something that he's mistaking in the idea of calling it deep, even though it's not. Whereas the Luna is much more rounded on that particular edge, and a little more like transparent in the release.
right.
But in terms of the actual depth of the flight plate to the rim, it's not that much deeper at all.
No.
So maybe that's really what he's referring to more so than that. I'm just not sure. But um I don't know. Here's the thing is like I would like to say that he's trying to fall on the putter as an excuse. But honestly, in my mind, I personally haven't felt like his throwing has been good enough to like if it is some kind of an excuse for that he's not his performance is down. His throwing off the tee and on the field has not been great.
Right.
Um, so it's very hard for me to give that justification any credence because I wouldn't say that it's really given him worse scores consistently. But I'm also
No.
not him, and 100% of putting is the feel. And if it doesn't feel right, then I don't blame him for switching.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the only thing is like the Mobius. Why would he not try that before switching away from EV7? Because the Mobius is shallower.
We don't know if he didn't try it though.
That's true. It's just like,
I would say instead of moving away, why didn't he, work with a company who's only got a few discs in their lineup at this point and say, "Hey, I think that this is too deep and I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like deep putters. What if we tried to develop something that was a little bit more shallow,
yeah,
reduce the glide, bring the shallowness, and then give us all another feel that we don't have in your lineup yet?
right.
Why not develop a new putter instead of just saying, I'm done with it. I'm gonna
And you
go."
know they would have. They're going to eventually.
Yeah. It almost makes me feel like there's something deeper
That's
there.
that's where I'm trying to get at, because I feel the same way. After I heard that he was switching back to the Lunas, which I also did not see in the comments after I seen this, so I think he took that away. But there was a guy said, "What are you switching to?" And he said, "Probably Lunas." And I was like, okay, okay, Lunas. But he still has been very reliant on a lot of his discraft stuff. So you can
Right.
definitely tell that that's just where his comfort lies. So maybe it is just a feel thing.
Yeah. And I mean he has the ability to make that choice given
He
his
does.
sponsor. And why not? If it's something that you were comfortable with and maybe you want to move back to something you've had, you know, comfort with before, as opposed to trying to find something new mid-season, I could understand that as the move.
Yeah, I could too. His season hasn't gone the way that he's expected, obviously,
Absolutely not.
and he's definitely just ready for a change. So hopefully, shout out to Culver Dolan. Hopefully, this is the right move for you, and you know we get to see you up in the standings a little bit more.
Yep. I sure hope so. Um let's see. Is there anything else really MPO wise? Well, let's talk about Aaron Gossage a little bit.
I mean,
Um,
the dude can hook a disc.
he's, my guy can throw,
He is one of the
and
best throwers that I believe is in the game right now.
yes, and I have to say something. One of the things that I noticed was it was a very solid performance overall. Yes, we know that. You podium finish at an elite series, you played well,
Right.
but it wasn't just that. Is he relied on his backhand 2 to 3 times more often, in my opinion, than what we usually see out of him.
I
And it was
agree.
very good. And that was good to see because when you're a forehand dominant player and you can go out to a course that really requires you to throw big power backhands
Yep.
that you're not as comfortable with and do well doing that, it
Yep.
bodes well. Bodes very well. I mean, he had some putting hiccups here and there, but for the most part, he was very solid on the green as well. Um, but really impressed with that performance. I think that we are going to continue to see him up there on the leaderboards a lot more often.
I agree. Um, Another thing that I wanted to point out is Paul Macbeth
I
placed
wanted to talk about this as well.
placed 19th. He tied for 19th with Kyle Klein, Chris Clemens, and Garrett Gerthy.
Yes.
It's what's happening. Like I understand. I understand that he has a tweak in his elbow or something like that, but he makes he's got money. You know what I mean? He's not out there for the prize money. If he needed to take some time off to heal up, he would do it. I truly feel that.
I disagree.
You think he would do? Why would? All right. So why would he continue to play if he's hurt?
The Kobe Bryant mentality.
Okay.
That's it. I don't need to. I don't feel like I need to explain that. It's what we saw out of Ricky. Should Ricky have competed this weekend? Absolutely not. He should not have been out there this weekend
No, he
at
shouldn't.
all. But he was there. And it's just like it's the same thing where he was very active on Twitter and a couple other socials this weekend where he basically was saying stuff like, how can I, when my game feels as good as it is, not go out there and try to compete?
Right.
When you are a born winner and you're a natural winner, that's what you're going to do. And sometimes you're going to know, I don't have my best stuff, but I am a winner and I'm going to go out there and try to win.
I get that. I get that. But there's been no explanation, no excuses, no
Well,
nothing.
there can't be at this point because we went through the season putting him on blast for explaining, and now he's backed into a corner where he can't, you know.
I
But
can I get that. At the same time, it's like he is between a rock and a hard place. I do completely agree. And I just would like to know what's going on because it might not even be an injury. Um, I just like that's a very long course. So why chance it there? Why not take just 1 week? Um, I I don't know. It's just a struggle for me to see why
well,
he's
I
out
mean,
there and not doing what his do. I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing: is when you're a competitor of that level, that's just your drive. He has the drive to continue doing it, even if he has not gone out there and played well through it, besides one tournament or one round in another tournament overall. But he's got that type of mentality, right?
Right.
I don't agree with it. I am 100% on the side of if he is not healthy enough to play at 100%, then he should take a break. Um, Now, I will say he might just be trying to scrap up to Portland before taking a break because I
It's
don't
all West Coast.
know. Well, yeah. So you've got Portland on June 2nd, right? And then you have a week off, except for, Silver Series. And then you have June 16th, which is match play. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see him take that off because there's nothing at stake for it, right?
Right.
It's just it's there. A
Yeah.
lot of people have fun with it. I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy watching the event, but I would not be surprised to see him take that off. Now, you're talking about he gets through June 5th, and then he can actually take a break if he really feels like he needs to, and he doesn't have to play again until June 24th of Preserve.
Right.
So there could also be a little bit of like, just make it through the stretch, just make it through the stretch. You get a break, just make it through the stretch, you know.
Yeah. I get
So,
that.
but I don't agree with it if he is hurt. I think that he should take some time off and heal up and recoup. But the Kobe mentality, there are very few people who are born with that type of mentality,
Yeah.
right? There are very few people who have the drive that no matter how hard you're hurting, you're going to go out there and you're going to do it. But he's definitely one of those people.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully he gets everything figured out because a winning Paul and then a podium Paul is a good Paul to watch. um, but uh, Ricky played on in a brace. um,
Compression sleeve, I
yeah,
believe.
it was compression sleeve, um, like copper fit style thing, right? And
Yeah, probably something a little thicker than that, but yeah.
yeah, but still placed fifth. He put together some good rounds.
Absolutely. And that's, again, that kind of speaks to that desire to go out there and play. When your game, like he said in Twitter, when my game feels this good, even though I'm hurt and I'm not at 100%, I don't know how I could not go out there and play.
Right.
Right. But we still saw it, just as much out of him as, we have seen, Paul, if he's still struggling with that injury, it's kind of the same thing. He's thrown some miraculous rounds through that injury.
Yeah.
And, it's I would say that it's kind of similar to what we've seen out of Ricky. I mean, pedestrian first round, extra pedestrian second round, third round was miraculously very good. And that's a lot of what we've seen. But that's the thing, is that's what injuries do to you. Is
Right.
yes, you can go out there and you can have a great day through an injury, but more often than not, you're going to have pedestrian or slightly above average days.
Right.
But the course is not allowing for that anymore. The field does not allow for you to compete through those types of injuries and expect to win. One of the things I wanted to point out was that when you look at what we've had, let's look at the schedule real quick. Who won Vegas Challenge? MPO.
Uh,
That was Drew.
Drew. Yeah. You had to give me a
And then
minute.
who? Yeah. And then Waco was Paul.
Paul.
Texas State was Ricky.
Ricky
Okay. Jonesboro,
was
Calvin.
Calvin.
DDO.
Was Ricky.
Okay. And then you had OTB.
Simon.
And then if we really want to put it in there, Champions Cup.
Chris.
One repeat.
And that's Ricky.
That's Ricky, but that speaks volumes to the fact that we are halfway through the season now, and that is the only repeat that we've had. This field is tough,
Right. Yeah,
and
not
it is
not
hard.
counting Silver Series.
It is hard to be number one when you are injured.
Right.
The field's too tough for that these days.
Right. Because Silver Series and
Great, yeah,
because
but
Chris has 3. But
yeah, but you would say, I mean, I'm sorry, Music City's
yeah,
field
the
was
field
not
was
deep.
not there. However, the Belton's field was completely full, just like an Elite Series.
It was,
But
and then
that's
you had
because everybody was in Waco and Texas State's already, so there's like
yeah,
why skip it? But
and you had Tallahassee that wasn't particularly deep either. A lot of
who won that
dropouts
one,
in
Paul?
Tallahassee.
Did Paul win
Uh,
that?
I'd have to look at that again. No, that was the Bazooka.
Oh, Albertown. Yep, you're right. No,
And then you
Paul won Throw
had
Down the Mountain. That's what it was.
yeah, and then you had Masters Cup, which that was one of the more deeps of the Silver Series
Yeah, it
as
was.
well.
You had
But
Gannon
no surprise because you had a week off before, and then Santa Cruz is a couple hours from Stockton, so
Right.
not a big outside of the way type of Silver
It
Series
was
event.
kind of like the Belton issue.
Yeah,
Kind of just
it's
you're
right there.
there. You're there.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
already there. You might as well compete.
Right.
But when you look at it, these elite series that are posting 115 players and 95% of the best players are all out there, one repeat so far this year.
Yep.
And that's something that we have not really seen in previous years. And I'm really interested to see how this continues to play out.
I think Ricky will win 2 more. I truly do. Um.
It's hard to say that he won't, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to say that he will.
Yeah.
I'd bet on one more. I don't know about 2 more.
That was the reason that I said 2, because I think 1 is a given.
Yeah, I don't even know that I would bet on 2 more because we go to preserve, and I mean you also have to consider too
I feel like
OTB
Preserve is
Portland.
very scoreable, so I think that opens up a lot of players.
Sure. But OTB in Portland, you're going to have to consider that there's no Chris Dickerson.
Yep,
So that's a little bit of a watered down in the field, technically.
I agree.
Um, and then if Paul ever gets healthy, you probably count him on 1 more as well. And then, there's a lot of players who are really playing well.
I don't think Paul wins again this year.
I think he does. There's no
See,
way he does,
we
and
need to
I
clip
just don't
this.
agree. There's no
Now,
way that
as
he
far as
doesn't
like,
win at least
he
1
might win a
more.
Silver Series, and when it comes to playoffs, anything's game.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not. I'm talking about pre-playoffs because it goes. How does it go this year? Does it go playoffs then USDGC, or
Um,
is USDGC right before playoffs?
so it goes Maple Hill, USDGC, and then Pro Tour Championship.
Okay, so it is. It is after. So
Yeah. But I mean, you also have to
because
consider
I will
that
never count Paul out at USDGC.
no, and to be honest, you have to also consider that 3 of the courses he plays phenomenally well at consistently are still left open on the course, including the Great Lakes Open, Des Moines Challenge. He's performed very well in Green Mountains. You know, those are courses he's dominated at some point in time in
Yeah,
his career. So those are places that you expect him to be podium.
Chris has also dominated the Green Mountain.
Yes.
Um, Des Moines,
Des Moines still like
it's
newer in
kind of
terms of the
newer. That was the one with Rathbun on it last year that got second, right? Rathbun
yeah.
almost took Paul to a playoff. I'm pretty sure that's the one. Um, Seems like I watched that just the other day. I like it. Just it came on after one.
That
Um,
doesn't feel that long ago.
it doesn't.
No, but that was Paul, Calvin, and Gavin.
And
One, two,
Raven
three.
Newsom.
Yes.
I remember it. Well, I did watch that one. I did watch that one.
But I would not be surprised. So you have, I I wouldn't be surprised to see Ricky take 1 more, Paul take 1 more, and the rest that are left are all people we either haven't seen yet or maybe Chris gets 1 more.
I
And that's
think
not including majors.
yeah.
I'm never going to count anybody out at Worlds, especially not Paul or
No,
Ricky
I'm not
or
counting.
Chris.
Yeah, no. I'm not counting worlds either because, to be honest, I would love to see Calvin win worlds. All right, that's where I think. I would love to see Chris win worlds. Um, those two are the two that are in the top 4 with Ricky and Paul that have not got that title yet.
Right.
Um, as far as USDGC goes, I would like to see Ricky get it because that's something that he could add to his legacy. But yeah, like you said, I'm not counting anyone out at majors at all because it's a different level of competition. It's a different level of focus. People
Right.
put everything in all of everything into what they have and how they play.
Right.
So,
Because when we look at it, I mean, we have our season, our Pro Tour season, and although majors are not the playoffs, we have a playoff and a Pro Tour championship.
right.
But when push comes to shove, Worlds is the World Series. You know,
Yep.
Champions Cup is the Super Bowl. Um, the European Open is the NBA Finals. Right.
Right.
We have a playoff for the pro season, but it's still never going to be anywhere close to what is coveted like the majors.
Yeah.
And so that brings, like you said, that brings a different mindset for all of the players.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. That's got me excited for Worlds. It's just right around the corner.
Yeah, it certainly does feel like it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. What? It's
Yeah,
in August this year, right?
yeah, I believe so.
Something like that. It's not far.
Yeah, last weekend of August.
In DDO.
Yeah, because last year it was really early.
Yeah, it was in June.
It was because there were a lot of complaints about how early it was last year.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
glad to see it a little later this year.
yeah. So that pulls it up or pulls it back all the way to August. The European Open is the mid-season major in July.
Okay,
So that's
that's happening at the same time Idlewild is, correct?
no, absolutely not. They would never schedule a pro tour during a major. So Idlewild's July 8th.
No, I thought it was
Um,
like the week right before it.
oh, 2 weeks after.
Okay, so it's 2 weeks after.
So yeah, so the European Open is July 21st.
Because I was hearing people say that they were going to just play Idlewild and skip the European tour or European Open. I don't.
Yeah,
I
so
guess it's
the
just a
biggest
travel thing, probably.
the biggest turnaround from the European is coming back for the Great Lakes Open because
Yeah,
that is the week after, which I don't agree with. I thought they should have spaced that 1 week,
it should
especially considering the
probably
travel required.
like a 2 weeks and a 2 week. To be
Yeah,
honest,
I
since it's a major, I think it should develop that. Um, it's earned that, and it have Silver Series for
yeah, and
like
it's not even that like being a major and it's earned that. It's also that it's so far out of the way.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not just you played like you played your major in Applin and then you made your way a couple 100 miles.
yeah,
You're traveling halfway around the world for this tournament.
right. Also, are they playing Yarva?
I haven't checked.
I would like to know the court because is it Kona Piste? That was the last European Open, right? In 2018.
No, there should have been a European in 2019 as well.
They do it every 2 years. In 2020, they canceled it because of COVID.
Let me look. They don't have the course posted yet, but I'm sure it's at the Beast.
Yeah. Is that part of Yarva or no?
I can't remember.
Because I don't know. I've just heard Yarva so much, but I don't think I've actually ever seen it played.
Yeah, it's at the Beast. Uh, this is the Legendary Beast, which is an extensively modified layout of the Nokia Disc Golf Park.
Nokia. Interesting. That'll be a good one to watch. Hopefully Simon can go over there and
Oh.
hold it down.
The 2022 edition of the Beast will be revealed at the end of May or early June 2022. So we should actually we should see something about the layout in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that'll be cool. Do a little course
Interesting.
review on it. That'd be nice.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time to do that since there's going to be that 2 week break before it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
speaking of courses, let's bring it back home to OTB
Okay.
because I have to tell you what,
I tell you what.
nobody really loves the idea of ball golf courses on the tour. This is hands down, in my opinion, the best one we've seen. Like, and not talking about old abandoned courses like Preserve, where it's, it used to be a golf course and now it's, 100% been transitioned or something like that. I'm talking temporary courses that are being put up for these events on a ball golf course. I mean, Portland Open has some massive shoes to fill now because of what OTB has done.
I agree. OTB was actually so difficult that it was so fun to watch. The fairways for disc golf were made outside of the fairways of regular golf, which that was such a good concept to use. They
Right.
used the land that they had available there and made it beautiful. Um, there was like one complaint that I could kind of see, and it was this is not the course's fault at all. This is commentary fault. Um, but um, as you're spectating or you're watching live, you don't really know where the landing zone is, right?
Right.
Because if Simon threw a shot and it was great, they would say, "Oh yeah, that's a really good shot." Well, Aaron would throw a shot and be you wouldn't even see Simon's disc, right? He's like, "Oh, that's a really good spot too." Well, where's the where do you need to be? Like, where's the ideal landing zone? And they did this on one hole over there by the water. I don't know what hole it was, but
That was the
um,
one where you had the big bush on the backside, and you could land on the right side, and there was a path. You could land on the left side on the path. Now, I want to point out, I know which one you're talking about. If you look at the T sign does actually show both routes as a viable option.
oh, I
So I think
agree.
that's something that, that really, like you said, it comes down to the commentary
That's
not
what I'm
explaining
saying.
themselves so well.
Because the
But the
course
thing
has
is,
it. You know what I mean? That's the
right,
commentary's job to say, okay, he chose this route, and this is just as good of a play. Some may say that this line is a little bit more difficult, blah blah blah, and kind of lead into a story about it. Why the
right,
course is done like this, why they designed the hole this way. That way, they could give different players the ability to create a shot rather than,
yeah,
oh, it's pretty good position in there. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just a lot left unturned, I guess.
Right. And some of that also comes down to like when you look at, how they introduce the whole and, kind of talk about it.
Yes.
And, you might have your drone fly over, for example. Well, the drone can only take one of the two or three available routes on any given hole.
Yep.
But as a commentator, that's your job to explain like, well, the drone is flying this way, but there's also a very viable 100 meters to the right of this or 100 meters to the left of this. Like,
Yep.
but I want to say that they did that more than once on that course in terms of creating multiple lanes to throw
Mm-hmm.
through, and have different landing zones that had different punishments if you missed,
Exactly. And I
um,
love
and
that. But
and they all required the same difficulty level of shot to perform. Just one of them might have been the forehand line, one of them might have been the backhand line, but everybody had
yep.
options. And it's very
Exactly.
similar to like the way we talked about, the Music City Open, where
Yeah.
there's a lot of lines, but it forces you to choose one and stick to it and commit to it. If you go out there and you're like, I think that forehand's the play, but you're in your mind, you're still thinking maybe I should have gone backhand. You throw that forehand, you don't commit to it, you're gonna get punished.
Yep. And I love those type of courses. I do. That's the best disc golf to watch is because
Eh,
it kind of gives for instance, I know it didn't really play out like this this past weekend, but Aaron Gossage's forehand is unreal. All right, it is. It's very good. Simon Lizotte, his backhand is so good. It's so
Yeah,
good. They could have attacked the same hole at a different way and ended up in completely different sides and still had great shots because of good course design. It
right,
allows the player's strengths to show while still being difficult to make them have to execute their strength.
right.
If a course can do that, they deserve a 5-star rating. Like they do.
And I have to say, one of the things that I really loved about watching it, even though it was on a ball golf course, was that at no time throughout the entirety of this entire tournament did we see somebody throw a roller that just traveled down a ball golf course fairway the whole way.
Yep. It had
Were
to
there
cut through
rollers? Yeah,
trees. Yeah, had to cut
there
through
were a ton
trees.
of rollers, but they offset going from, one side of the you were you might have been throwing across two or three different ball golf course fairways. And let me tell you what, when you have to throw through the rough, when you have to throw through the trees that line the sides of every fairway in the ball golf course, you know what I mean?
Yep.
When you have to do that, you have to make that decision. Is this roller really going to be worth it? There were a lot of really interesting rollers that we saw. I mean, how many times did we see somebody throw a roller and fall down because they had to put it
Get
on
it
such
down.
an
They had to get it
extreme?
down. Yeah.
Sometimes it wasn't even that they had to get it down. They had to warp the disc essentially around a specific line to get it out to their roller angle that they were looking for. It wasn't just, Oh, throw a big, high arcing turnover that turns into a roller and then travels down a ball golf fairway for 400 meters.
Right. Yeah.
Like
You
the
know,
ingenuity of the design while keeping the integrity of what we expect from high level disc golf was immaculate.
yes. Um, so speaking of this, this is something that I had brought up. You remember how last week I was like, you should do the course preview of what roller shot or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Um,
And I never got around to it because I couldn't, there was nothing like,
there wasn't really, yeah,
there,
there wasn't really a hole. Um, so what I was gonna ask to kind of fill in that slot is on the whole pro tour that played at OTB Open, who do you think had the best rollers out there?
um, I
I
don't
have
know.
my pick.
I wasn't tallying it. So I can't, I don't think I could give an educated answer
Well, it doesn't have to
because,
be educated. I just want
uh,
something that stood out to you.
I mean, Ricky threw a couple that just blew my mind, honestly.
Hmm.
But there were a lot of them. Like the thing is that they were used so much fewer and farther in between than we usually see on a ball golf course
Yeah,
that I wasn't paying attention to it. I was paying much more
it
attention
wasn't
to the results
cluttered
of the
with them.
shots.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it
So
was nice.
I can't even say that I have a good answer because I wasn't thinking of it.
Well, I have two pretty good answers. I feel like.
Sure, I'll let you take one of those answers and plaster it to my name.
All right. Well, I'll give you a B then because Anthony Brella laid down he laid down the shot of the tournament. It was insane. It cut twice.
Yeah.
It cut twice. Like discs
Yeah.
don't do that. It was
The f-
literally like it. I I don't know. It stood
I-
back up.
I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about and the funny thing was is I don't know if you've watched
He parked it for eagle.
yeah, but I don't know if you've seen the doubles match that Brody did with AB and Drew Gibson yet.
Mm-mm.
But I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, he threw the same roller on on one of those holes in that practice round and just absolutely flopped it. So the
See,
fact that he went out there and did
and
that
did it
for
and
Eagle,
executed.
because
Yeah,
I know which one
parked
I
it. Yeah,
remember which one you're talking about now. Because even I was watching it like it just like it was like it curled up around the base of the basket at the end of it, and
yeah.
you're like, how did it even get there?
Right. It had to cut so far right, but it cut right and then stood back up straight and then cut right back around the basket again. I'm like,
Dad, don't.
how did you do that? You mind controlling person, you. But no, me. My answer is Ella Hansen. Ella has some of the nicest rollers that I've
Yeah,
ever seen. Like just in general. She
yeah.
has
It's
she can do the high Annie roller. She can do the overstable roller. She can do the flippy low roller, the thrower. Like I don't know exactly. I guess she's from Colorado. Is that correct in me saying that? Um but
possibly.
she has got rollers down to a T. You can tell that she has that as a strong point in her game. Um
Yeah, and it's nice to see it too
mhm,
because I mean, in the past, really the only player on FPO side that we see consistently go to a roller when they think it's necessary is Katrina.
is Katrina. And she's good at it too,
Um,
don't get me wrong.
she
But
she is good, but it's nice to see FPO adding that new element to their game because I think we're going to see a lot more people,
I
you
think so
know,
too.
kind of pushing towards
Yeah.
that. But yeah, she was, phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie, which is amazing too because you're talking about one of the longest air shot throwers,
Yeah.
and she doesn't really need the distance on most of the FPO courses with the rollers, but she still practices them and is implementing them. And
Yep.
I'm gonna say if Portland is not overtly modified from what we've seen in previous years, watch out for Ella next week or in
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I mean,
Like,
one of the things that stood out to me is one of the holes that they had to throw a roller on. It was the same tee pad as the MPO. There was several of these holes that had the same tee pad and basket. Um, it was interesting to me because Ricky was about 60 feet long. Um, to the basket. Ella
Right.
was 130 feet long. I was like, oh my god, she just threw a 580-foot roller. Like
How
what?
did you get there? She gets up there. She's like, I threw it too good.
I threw too good. I was like, oh my god.
But yeah. So, anyways, still, just overall, brilliantly done by everybody who worked on that course.
Yeah, kudos to you.
Even some pros came out and said, um, I'm not the biggest fan of ball golf courses, but course designers take notes. This has been one of my favorites.
Yeah,
And I even went so far as to put out a poll because I was like, why not? Of
right,
course. And so I just asked for anybody who's watched OTB, now that you've seen the course for 3 days, how do you feel about the overhaul from 2021? Um, because I'll be honest, I hated the 2021 layout. I
yeah,
thought it was awful. um, and my options were so much better. It's a little better, I guess. Not better at all, and it's a ball golf course,
right,
right? And 54% voted for so much better than 2021. There were 35% that voted for it's a little better, I guess, and then 11% it's a ball golf course. Which
right,
I put that option on there for a reason because you know that there's still going to be somebody out there who says, "Yeah, it was better, but it's a ball golf course."
right. But
But I thought that was
it didn't give the vibe of a golf course. That's
no,
what I liked.
no, absolutely not. We had a couple of people kind of comment back. One of our commenters said, "I suppose it's one of the better ball golf courses, but I still feel like it's anonymous. I can't think of a single memorable hole, and I feel like I've forgotten it as soon as I turn off coverage." I have to say, I agree with the idea. As
Yeah,
beautiful as the course was as a whole and as well designed as it was overall, it did seem to lack a signature hole or a flagship to like stand around. One
right.
of the things we've talked about a couple of times this year is having a hole on the course where you can just set up a still camera and just watch people throw at it.
Yeah,
And this course doesn't feel like it has a hole for you to do something like that. So if that's something that we're going to move towards, which I really hope we are, that course needs that.
yeah.
So that is one improvement that they need to make. Um,
But
I had
one
somebody
versus
else,
20 is much better.
yeah. I had one person say I liked it. I liked last year's layout. I 100% understand and often agree with the ball golf course argument. I do think this year's layout was better. It was much more technical, and that's generally a good thing. Obviously,
Yes,
anytime you can add technicality to a ball golf course, you're doing a good thing.
yes,
Um, and then one of the things that we had mentioned, I had another commenter say, I think it's just about as good as a ball golf course can get. You needed fantastic touch to score here, and it's not a roller fest.
yes. There was
I mean,
plenty
I
of
think
rollers, but they wasn't a roller. It wasn't a roller fest. It was
no.
definitely, hey, do you want to get how aggressive do you want to be?
Yeah,
There you
I
go.
mean, because how many times have we watched cards with, I mean, when you get out there and you watch a card like Paul, Eagle, and Ricky all walk up there and all throw a roller down the same fairway, when you have somebody like Eagle who throws farther than any human being out there,
Yep.
and he's still throwing rollers because it's obviously the only like really good option.
Yes, the
It's
only
just
good way to score. Right.
I love rollers as much as the next guy, but I don't want to see it every shot.
I agree.
This course allowed for ingenuity, a showing of technical skills, and allowed people to play to their strengths and still have a chance to score decently well.
Yep. I liked it. All right. Well, um, you want to play a little disc guessing game?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna let you go first since I have my disc ready.
Got it.
Yeah. Let me double check. Let me double check real quick and make sure that I got the numbers right.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull mine up real quick while
Do
you're
do do.
saying that. Da, 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 da. Don't worry, guys. We're still here, I promise.
Yes.
We haven't taken a break yet. At least I don't think so, right?
No. Yeah, we haven't.
Okay.
We are good. Let's see here. Okay. Got it. And I'm glad I looked it up because I would not have guessed those numbers.
It's a good thing.
Yes.
That kind of scares me because that makes me think that it's going to be hard.
Yes. There's no way I would have guessed that. But yeah. So you let me know when you're ready.
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Innova,
No.
Trilogy,
No.
MVP,
No.
Discraft,
No.
DGA.
No.
Okay. Millennium,
No.
Discmania,
Yes.
Driver,
No.
Midrange,
Yes.
MD1, MD2, MD3.
Yeah, you got it. MD1. Do you know the numbers on an MD1?
MD1 is 5500, 5600. Is this the new one or the old one?
The old one.
Oh, it's 5501 or 5502, I think.
Weird.
5503?
4402.
Oh, that's right. The old MD1 was slower.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot. Because I don't know why I was thinking of the original MD, which I think is 5502.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. That kind of
I forgot the MD1 was a 4-speed.
it shocked me when I looked that up because I totally thought it was 5501.
The new
That's
one
just
is
what I thought.
I think the new one's 5500,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. Which I'm still mad that hasn't hit full production, and if it never hits full production, I'm gonna rage
Yeah.
because I want one
I mean, Simon was throwing
so
his new one
bad.
all over the place. That's what he threw in
Yeah,
for Eagle.
yeah. Well, now I gotta look it up just to be sure.
That it's not in full production.
No, I know it's not in full production because I just checked like a couple weeks ago.
That was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but they hadn't even announced like it would be dropping.
Yeah, no,
on
the PD
or
is what they're
at.
focusing on right now. It dropped today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, so the new one is 5600.
5600. It sounds
I
wonderful.
want it so bad.
I know, it
I
sounds so
want it
good.
so bad. Ugh.
I want it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna apologize up front. This one's gonna be hard.
Why do you always? I give you easy ones. I'm gonna start bringing out some hard ones.
I mean, it might not be hard. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
We'll see. You let me know
I'm
when I can go.
gonna pull my timer up. I have to fix my timer too because I was using it for something else the last time, and the time's wrong. All right, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Innova.
No.
Discmania.
No.
Trilogy.
No.
Prodigy.
No.
DGA.
No.
Discraft.
No.
Any subset of Innova.
No.
I'm missing a big one or something.
You are missing a big one.
I already said Trilogy. Said Innova, Discraft, Discmania, MVP.
MVP.
Driver.
Yes.
Distance driver.
Yes.
13 speed or higher.
Yes.
13 and a half speed.
No.
Just 13 speed.
No.
14 speed.
No. 14 and a half. I'll give it to you.
14 and a half. Insanity.
5 seconds. No.
Tenacity.
No.
Um.
That's time. One more narrower.
Okay. I don't know. Is it can't really ask that. I guess I can. Is it MVP, Axiom, or Streamline?
It's MVP. I would have told you if it was a subsidiary at the beginning, so I'll give you
Okay.
another question.
Okay. Understable?
Yes.
So um it's the disc you just got.
Yes.
Starts with an R.
Also yes.
Um but I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember how to say it. Um re
Think of MVP's like theme when they talk about things. So like proton plastic. So
Yeah.
like they kind of have that big like science and
Yeah,
physics
like
thing.
they go tenacity, insanity, the re
Think
guy, remedy. Uh, that would have been a good name. Um, relativity.
That's it.
Boom. Ah, got it.
Relativity, baby.
How you like it?
I haven't thrown it yet.
Oh, you
I
haven't thrown
haven't
it yet.
I haven't been on a course that's big enough for me to trust a 14 speed that's supposedly uh -3 turn with a 1.5 fade.
Right.
That's a big open air kind of throw, and I haven't been on that course lately.
I want to see it. I want to
I'm
see it.
scared. I'm scared to throw it. Hasn't even been like it's
I
been
bet
with
it's
me
not as
wherever I go, but I
understable
just haven't.
as it says.
Maybe, but
It's
I don't know.
pretty
I
domey, but
am
it's not pop toppy. So I feel like it's just got a lot of glide.
It's like a soft pop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just flexy.
Yeah. So it's like a slightly flat on the top dome, but
Mm-hmm.
it does definitely have a good dome, and it is very like it has like a little bit of like a
Right,
just like a
just
little
barely.
pop, but not a true like pop top.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that I would say that it isn't as understable as I think, only because I don't know. I've always felt like MVP tends to fly a lot truer to that turn number than a lot of other discs do. So a -3 with a 1.5 fade is definitely going to be understable.
I just not the two that I have. The two that I want up there, um they're both it's 8.5 -2.5 1 and then 9.5 -2 2, right?
Yeah,
And both of them are meat hooks. Like,
but I've thrown your, like your tenacity before,
yeah,
which
it's
isn't
very
isn't
true. I feel
but
like it's very true.
yeah, but I mean the first time that I threw it, it was much more understable than I had expected because I kind of ran through that same thought process, like, oh, it's probably not as understable as I think it is.
Right.
And I threw it, and I almost turned it into a roller.
Right.
So that's my fear with this is that I'm gonna throw it and it's gonna turn into a roller on me, and I'm like, I haven't been on I have 2 or 3 courses that I could throw this on and just, like, rip on it and not have to worry. One of
Right.
the courses actually has a giant, like it has, like, 2 full-sized soccer fields,
Yeah.
um, and I could get out there and rip on it out there just to see what it does. I'm imagining that it's going to be like what a turn is before it's beat in, because it's new. So I'm assuming it's gonna be like my turn, except not quite as flippy since my turn's a G star.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
But
All
I'm
right.
excited to throw it when I get a chance.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, good guesses. Yeah. That's about all I got. I did want to bring up. I don't know if you've had the chance. Um, have you seen? Did you see what I posted about the whole Burt Kreischer thing,
A little bit of it, yeah.
where he was on Joe Rogan?
Hmm.
Um, so I listened to the entire Joe Rogan podcast today, which was 4 hours long.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a task.
But
Don't get
I
me
just
wrong, I like listening to Joe Rogan as much as the next guy, but some of those episodes are a downright task.
yeah. Well, anyways, this one was pretty good. Ouch. That hurt. It was good. Um, but I just felt like there was something else about disc golf that they clipped out that they didn't put in there. So I wanted
Right.
to go listen for myself. Turns out there was. Um, Bert Kreischer is planning on putting together a tournament, a big tournament, $1 million
Really?
tournament.
Wow.
All right. Joe Rogan is planning on putting together $1 million tournament.
Whew.
Yeah. And he said, he was saying to Bert, he's like, you don't understand what you could do for this sport. Because he kept asking, he's like, I've known people that play, and the other guy, Joe's producer plays,
Right.
and he's like, I know people that play. He's like, but why isn't it mainstream? You know, and he's like, if he's like, it's kind of like pool in my opinion, to where pool is so fun when you get good at it. But the difference with pool than disc golf is that people of all ages can play it
Right.
without any kind of setbacks or holdbacks, really. um it's very inexpensive to get into. There's no real the community is way better than the pool community, supposedly. I don't know, I don't play pool.
Yeah, I've only played like casual pool. I
Yeah,
know I
same.
know how I've heard it can get very toxic.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of the way he was talking about it. But he was like, he's gonna get a TV show to air it, um, whether it be ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, CBS, NBC, something. He said, I'll get Amazon to do it if I have to or something. But I that just imagine if he was to follow through with that, like what it could do.
Right.
Would it not be a huge boom?
Um, I don't know. It's a hard thing to pin down. Is it going to increase the volume of intake immediately? Yes. How much? I don't know. Because it's going to increase the intake volume. Is it going to increase a sustained intake volume? That is always yet to be seen.
Right,
You know what I mean? Because the thing is like it would have to be something that he brought up on more than one occasion to increase the sustainability of that
right.
increase.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean that it is what it is, I guess. But the one thing that I can guarantee you is that the more money that gets put into the sport in terms of events and payouts,
yep,
the more it will be seen. That is
yes,
100% true and accurate. There is no question about that. When disc golf starts seeing those types of monies put into events like the numbers you're talking about, those types of
yeah,
figures, that means that it is going to be watched simply for the money that you're going to see, won.
right. Bert was saying that his tournament, he's gonna try to do a two. It's his because Bert runs a podcast as well as he is a comedian.
Right.
But it's Two Bears One Cave is what his podcast is called, and he said that he's gonna do the Two Bears One Cave Invitational at Innova's course in Hawaii.
Mm,
And he said that he would hand fly all of the players that he invited out, and they play for $1 million.
interesting. That's wild.
Yeah, that is wild, right?
The question is, if you're going to go through that much effort, are you going to call, DGN up and get them out there?
I don't think so. I think it's like they're trying to go above DGN.
You think they're going to get ESPN on in on this?
Yeah, that's what they were
Would it,
saying. Like ESPN, CBS Sports, Fox Sports, Amazon. Yeah,
that would be interesting. I think Amazon would be huge.
I do too. That's something
ESPN
that
would be,
Amazon could pick up and really take under their wing, I feel like.
yes. I can't say too much about ESPN. Um, when we look at what we have seen on ESPN or what we have seen on CBS thus far, it's been met with, fairly mixed reviews. It's never hit a good time slot before.
Right.
So it's really hard to say, but Amazon's always an interesting one because it doesn't necessarily need to be at the best time slot,
Nope.
and it's always accessible.
Yeah. It's always streamable. That's the cool thing about Amazon. So I don't know. That's just something to think about, that it could potentially happen. So, um, and he's very good friends with Ben Askren and everything.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's something I'm definitely gonna try to keep as much
Yep.
information on as I possibly can. So I guess
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
know that.
start listening to Two Bears One Cave as well.
You'd never listened before.
I've listened to it before, but
Okay.
I'm not like a everyday listener like I am to the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, it's a little long-winded for me. A lot of their episodes tend to go a little bit too long for me to listen, but a lot of times I'll listen for like the first hour or so.
Yeah. Yeah, today I was like, it threw me all out of my rhythm because I usually listen to every disc golf podcast every day. Um and then by that time I end my day with Pat McAfee and then on
And
to the
then move
next
on.
day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So today I was like, oh wow, I got a lot to catch up on tomorrow. But it is what it is. But I think that would be something really cool to see.
Yeah, I know I've seen a couple of tweets go back and forth between Bert and Innova and a couple other people, so
Yeah,
I definitely think that the ball is rolling very well.
I do too.
Um, so I don't think this isn't just like a pipe dream that they're like, this is what I want to do. It's the ball is moving.
Mm-hmm.
This is rolling downhill right now,
Yeah.
and we'll see if there's any obstructions that get in the way while it's rolling. But right now the ball is rolling.
Yeah. And I'm excited. And if you're a disc golfer out there, you should be excited as well.
Hmm, absolutely.
All right. You want to do picks for the Portland Open?
Now we could save that for next week.
Okay. We'll have
I
to have
think.
something to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have something. Next week will probably be a little bit of a shorter episode. You're
Yeah.
coming back from vacation. I don't know how busy I'm gonna be that weekend.
Yeah. We may come up with
But
maybe I might try to put together a game.
something
Um
or other.
a game, and we'll try to get us a guest for next week.
See if we can't get somebody.
Yeah. See if they'd be interested. But all right, I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, I think I am. Sorry everybody for starting so late tonight.
Yep.
Being a little unorganized, but
Yeah.
we just had some stuff going on and wanted to make sure that the podcast still got done. So if you've listened all the way to this point, we thoroughly appreciate you. Um,
Absolutely.
and thanks for the loves, the shares, the likes, the ratings if you're listening at a later date, so on and so forth. Um, yeah, pretty excited
Yes.
about things to come and a lot of good disc golf that's going to be had for the rest of this year. But I
That's
am kind
right.
of glad, as much as it sucks that we're kind of starting to get into this point where we're going to have a week where we just don't have much to talk about a little more often over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, got a lot of big events coming very soon.
Mm-hmm. That's
It's
right.
going to be a wild summer.
It will not be stale.
Mm-mm.
But again, congratulations to Simon and Paige on their wins at OTB. Thanks to everybody that listens. We will see you guys next week. We'll try to keep you posted on who we might have as a guest if we can get someone lined up. Everybody have a wonderful night, a great day tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend. And whenever you're listening to this, just know that we appreciate you. And we will see y'all next round. Thanks,
See you
Johnny.
later.